welcome to the channel. Today I got something a little bit different going on here. You can see I have the overhead angle. This is somewhat inspired by, I've been watching a lot of like Spilled Ink with Ditus and Emirichu, and I'm not an artist, so I can't do art, but I love like the top-down angle, doing like the podcast style, just talking and hanging out. So I want to have like a good chill vibes video, and today, as a surprise, I'm going to be putting together this guy. The camera a little misangled here. That should be alright, it's fine. Maybe I'll be able to fix it in post, but I have this Charmander. This was a gift from a friend of mine. I don't think it was intended to be a birthday gift. I think it was just meant to be like a fun gift, but I did also recently have a birthday within the past few weeks. I just turned 30. So I think that my plan for this video is that I'm just going to be putting this together, and I'm just going to be chatting about, you know, like life, philosophy, and stuff like that. This is something that I've been kind of like toying around in my own head for a while. I've been like pondering about it. I've been having this urge to make content, to make videos. I just don't know what I want to make or how I fit in. So a lot of my videos have just been post something, anything, just make a video, and that's kind of the end of it. So I want to start involving some kind of like mission statement, some kind of like point behind the videos. Like, do I want to be informative or entertaining or persuasive? Is it going to be a video essay? Like, I want to start involving like a purpose behind my content, because as of right now, my main motivation is just to post for the sake of it. So for today, I'm just going to be putting this together, and I have some topics that I want to discuss and talk about that I think might be interesting. A whole other side of this is the idea of speaking as an authority on YouTube. I feel like everybody wants to be the king in their own head, and I struggle with discussing things from that perspective of, well, what do I really have to offer? Like, why would anybody really want to listen to me say anything about anything? Like, I don't know, half the time I really don't care about what I think about things. But then I started thinking, well, maybe it's not up to me to decide what other people resonate with or what they find interesting. Maybe it's up to them. Maybe I just got to speak my truth, and if someone takes something from that, whether or not in their journey in life is at the point where that speaks to them in some kind of way, like, let them decide. So I have a range of things that I think might be interesting to talk about. I have a background in both psychology and philosophy, so I think it's probably going to be targeting a lot towards that, and we'll see how this goes. So without any further ado, I'm going to get this thing opened and we'll get it together. All right. Oh, let's see if I can get this on camera, opening this up. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I get very much so, like, if this is cringy at all, like something about the cringe of opening up boxes without cuts, seeing all like the raw, unedited, like struggling and tapping, I get like huge ASMR vibes from it, and I love it. And I'm like, oh, this guy has absolutely no idea what they're doing. And there's something so mesmerizing about that. So I'm going to try to just like, even if this is awkward or painful to sit through, I'm going to try to keep it as is. So we'll go ahead and get these little straps off, throw those to the side here, and we'll get this model kit open. This is a Bandai Namco Charmander model kit. It says that you don't need any special equipment or anything to make it. It's all just like, you take all this stuff apart and put them together. And that's basically it. So we'll see how this looks. We got all of our pieces here. Oh wow, that's kind of interesting. Throw this to the side. You can see here the directions are on the inside of the box. I've never actually seen that before. I wish I had better lighting. So my whole like rig here is very, I guess for lack of a better word, ghetto. I don't know if that's like insulting to say today. I haven't heard anyone use the word ghetto and have it like, maybe I'm gonna get like canceled for saying that. I don't know. Maybe that's insulting. I don't know of a better way to phrase it though. It's very, like maybe amateurish would be a better way. I don't have any kind of like lighting or anything. It's just a tripod and a camera. My camera is my phone, and I'm using a cheap HyperX microphone to record. I'll go ahead and get this opened. Get that on camera. Oh, see, the struggle is real. And there's something about it that I just love when someone is struggling through something. Maybe that sounded like really dark. I love seeing someone struggle through something. I meant like when it's a little awkward. I get like the brain tingles from that nonsense. I'll go ahead and get all these out of here. And before I look into the directions, we'll just pop each of these out and I'll start talking about some of the stuff I wanted to hit on. How's this camera angle looking? Ugh, I couldn't like get it straightened out. This is like such a bad setup, but it's alright. We'll just work through it. So one thing that I wanted to talk about is this idea that I always hear everyone saying like, oh, treat others how you want to be treated. And I always thought that was kind of interesting. And it's a good life philosophy to have until I had one philosophy professor that said that that has a very egocentric like background to it. And it kind of goes hand in hand with this whole idea of like Buddhism and the middle way and karma and karmic retribution, which I think a lot of people misconstrue. So the idea about karma often gets mixed up with people thinking that, oh, if something bad happens to you, then there's going to be some like unspoken force that creates justice, which isn't necessarily how karma is supposed to be. So just to bring this back around, the idea of treating others how you want to be treated, the way that the philosophy professor said, is that you should treat others the way that you want others to treat others, because if your only incentive is based off yourself, then maybe that's not the best way to go through life. And in that same sense, I love the idea of like Buddhism and karma and all that stuff, and the way that it actually is supposed to operate when you start looking into Buddhism is more so that you're building up this karmic energy, and then when you pass away, and so you're building up this karmic energy, and eventually when you pass away, your reincarnation is going to manifest itself in a sense from that karmic buildup. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I believe in this. I don't know if I believe in reincarnation or not. I have no idea. I just know that I'm alive in this world right now, and that's the truth that I understand. But I like the idea of living my life in a sense that I'm trying to build up a karmic energy, and it's going to pass on to a next iteration of myself. So it's not going to be me. I'm not building this up for myself. I'm not living my life in a way to where in the afterlife I get to heaven or I go to hell. I'm not going to like get punished, but it's motivated for whoever is next in line for who's going to be getting this karmic energy. I would like to believe that they would be the ones receiving that karmic energy. If I did what I perceive to be good in the world, then they would benefit from that in some sense. And it has nothing to do with me. It just happens. It has to do with, being a decent person. And nobody's perfect. No one has everything figured out. There's no cookie cutter way of life. And sometimes life has a different plan for us, You never know. And for me in particular, that comes very into play because maybe I had ideas about where I wanted to be when I was 30. Maybe I didn't when I was younger, but from a younger age, I started to lose vision, and this is like a whole can of worms going into the story, so I'm just going to give you guys the abridged version, but I have very, very bad eyes. They're awful, and it requires consistent maintenance and going to eye doctors and checking things out, making sure everything's safe, and I've had more than a handful of surgeries on my eyes, and it hasn't been easy. It really hasn't. And it takes its toll, and I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the idea that sometimes people are living a journey in their own heads that you may know nothing about. So as I adventure into the world, it's like I may look healthy and seem fine, and people might mount their expectations on you based off that, but they have no idea that I'm walking a tightrope of disability, and that changes things. That changes how I conduct myself, the chances that I take in life. And a lot of people might not realize that, and I think that goes in the same way for a lot of other people too. It's like, you never know what someone's going through, what they've been through, and where they are in the journey of life. everyone kind of learns things at different rates, and I think that's fine too. Alright, we'll start to look at these directions. See if I can get this out of the camera view. Yeah, that works. I can see that from here. So I guess this part will go into this one. Actually, I believe it's this one because these are for the eyes. I think it goes the other way. It just slips right on in there. Cool. And this piece goes right in here, like yeah. Cool, just snaps right in. We get the belly on, that's right here. Yeah, so like I was saying, I hope that when I talk about like life and, ooh, this is like how I see things, it doesn't come off as like preachy or like, I really hope not like mansplaining, but like I said, these are things that I've thought about and that I've like heard from philosophy professors, and it's stuff that like resonated with me that I thought was interesting. So, I mean, who am I to say that like somebody else doesn't hear that and think, oh yeah, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. Like, I like that. And I don't know, maybe something will happen to me at some point in the future, I'll change, and these won't become like ideas that I take to heart or anything. Like, you never know. Everybody evolves at different rates. Try not to judge and treat others like how you want others to treat others. And be the change that you want to see in the world. Something that often bothers me is when someone has some kind of sense of self-discovery, and then it comes down to this whole ideology of, I believe this, therefore you need to do this. And it's like, well, hang on, because why do I need to change myself in accordance to your worldview? Like, explain things to me so that I can understand better, and then maybe I'll agree or disagree. But sometimes people get this whole, like, it's like this, I've learned this, and that holds me in this position of superiority over you because you don't know it. And it's like, well, that's awfully mean. Like, how is that like how you want to be for the rest of your life? I don't know, people that like do that kind of rub me the wrong way. It's not like somebody does that and all of a sudden it's like they're the spawn of Satan to me. Like, sometimes people are a little misguided, and that's fine too. But I know that kind of behavior is not something that I mesh well with. Because I, for one, am a person who values conversation, and if you believe something different, then that's fine. We don't have to believe the same things, but at the very least I would like someone to honor me enough to sort of explain their worldview to me and not try to do it in a way that stifles the conversation into a standstill. Because I like learning new things. I'm a very open-minded person, and sometimes I don't understand something, and sometimes I won't understand something until it's explained in a way that I can comprehend. That's not always my fault, you know? Everyone's prey to cognitive dissonance. It happens to the best of us. Alright, we're coming to a close here. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, wow, that like really tackled all the topics that I wanted to hit already. I didn't even look at I had like notes here. I just sort of like rambled on about all of them. I'm honestly surprised. I thought that I was going to have to like pause, revisit my notes and say, oh, what else did I want to talk about? That's basically it. Yeah, I guess I could talk about like the channel, some ideas that I've had, where I want to see it go. A lot of my motivation for right now is, like I said, that I just want to create. I want to start making videos, but I'm also not arrogant to think that I have something that people need to see. I just think that it's fun. I think it's a fun hobby. I think I'm learning a lot about myself in doing so. I think I'm learning a lot about actually recording and the whole like model behind it, about like editing and camera work and lighting, and I'm interested in seeing it grow. A hobby that I used to have was weightlifting. I loved going to the gym, doing like bodybuilding and powerlifting. I got really into it, and like I said with my eyes, sometimes life has different plans, and I could no longer go to the gym. I think that it's at a point where it's not safe for me, especially with my eyes, and that was a hobby that it was hard to lose that one, but I just don't, it feels too much like a risk now if I'm to go to the gym. So I can't do that anymore, and something that I loved about the gym was that, for one, it grounds you, because when you have weight above your chest and you have to push it up, you can't really think about other things. It kind of like brings you into that present moment, and I think it's very meditative to do that. And I also loved just the fact that you could measure the weights and slowly increase the load over time and get better at it. I love the idea of like slowly improving at something as I continue doing it. You can improve your technique, the amount that you're lifting, time under tension. Like, there's so many different ways that you can expand yourself in that, and I don't have that anymore, and I'm trying to find that in other areas. And I've always wanted to try YouTube, so I'm really glad that I'm like starting to do this. Even if the videos aren't good, you know, it's fine. I've already thrown out some videos that have very poor like-dislike ratios, and that's alright, because I'm not expecting to be good at this in the beginning. I don't even know if I keep practicing it if I'll ever get good at it, but it's still just fun, you know? Alright, I think I've stalled enough on this. I have a hard time with talking and doing things at the same time. So let me just focus in here for a second and get the tail built. And we have the last piece here to put together. Gotta shove this up his butt. Okay, just like that. And we are done with putting the pieces together. Now all we gotta do is just throw on some stickers. And here they are. You see we got some like fire for the tail, some pieces for the feet, and 2 eyeballs. So I'll see if I can like try to get this at a good angle to put those on. I guess we can start off with the feet. I don't know about anybody else, but stickers always make me nervous. I always feel like I have this anxiety that I'm gonna put it in like a wrong spot or something. Or that it's gonna be like misaligned. I don't know. Once the sticker's on, it's just kind of on, you know? And I always like keeping things like I don't want to say like in pristine condition, but I feel like once you put a sticker on something, then yeah, it's personalized, but it no longer has like its own identity. Now it's like it has the identity that you put on it. And it often makes me feel weird. I should start off with like the nails on here. Get those aligned right. There you go, that's not bad, huh? Charmander's little Pete's. Is that too lame? I don't know. So talking about like YouTube and stuff, like I've thought about, because some of my content seems like it might fit better for like TikTok or something, since I'm just kind of like a guy talking. I feel like YouTube today has become TV 2.0, where like things need to be like super overproduced and have like great production value, and I don't know how to do that, and I also value the learning process, so I don't just want to like outsource stuff just to try to strike it big or make it huge on YouTube and blow up. Like, I want to see the channel slowly grow organically through the work that I've put into it. And if maybe in the future I decide to like hire an editor or something, then that's then. But for right now, that's kind of like where my head's at. But I feel like I don't quite fit in on TikTok. Like, I'm 30 years old now. I have a hard time fitting in there. I have a hard time fitting in on Twitch. And I've grown up on YouTube, so it's kind of like why I'm here. But I also don't think I fit in quite well here either, just because of how overproduced. Oh no, the sticker's in the wrong spot. I also feel like I have a hard time fitting in here just because of like how overproduced a lot of stuff is. That one's a little off, but that's fine. I think that looks quite okay. Now the last part we have just some decals for the flames here, which I don't even know if I really want those on. I kind of like the red. I'll try it anyway just to see how it looks. But YouTube's kind of been my go-to for right now, just because I like learning the editing. I do think it's like very difficult having the creativity to make a thumbnail and a title that's like catching up to have people in. Most of my videos, within the minute, the first like 10 seconds, people are already dipping out. I guess I'm not nearly interesting enough, which is fine. I'll slowly improve, slowly work on getting myself a little bit more, I don't want to say like theatrical, but becoming more of a presenter for video making. A lot of it right now is just the fact that I am like exhausted half the time. I work a regular old 9-to-5 job, which involves sitting, and I don't go to the gym anymore, so I'm sitting a lot throughout the day. And I've hit a point where I'm so exhausting from sitting down all day that a lot of times when I get done work, I feel like I need to lay down because I'm so tired, which is ridiculous. But I'm like so out of shape. So right now I have an exercise bike and I've been trying to ride on it at least like twice a week, just to get the heart rate going and get my cardiovascular system back. Because it's such a shame. When I was in college, I used to be in like amazing shape. Like, I'm not saying I was anything impressive, like I wasn't going to be like an Olympic athlete, but instead of like having a car, I rode a bike everywhere, and I would ride my bike to classes, to work, like every single day. And I never had problems with getting up and going and getting energized. I always had energy, and now it's like it's hard for me to say, oh, I'm just getting older, because like I feel like 30 years old really isn't that old. I should have no problem getting energized and like hanging out and having fun. And I think part of it is due to my eyes and just like the anxiety of, if I'm too active, is that going to become detrimental towards my vision? Like, I don't know. And so I'm less acclimated towards like taking risks, even if they're not truly risks, but in my head, I sort of encode a lot of things as risks, which is a whole psychological issue that I'm kind of like dealing with. But for right now, I'm like, I can at least ride a bike to get myself in better shape, to at least make like videos and get like energized to sound better on camera and stuff. But it's all a work in progress, you know? Cool. Alright, how does that look? Think that looks alright? I think it looks quite swell. Cool. And he is done. That's it. That is the Bandai Namco Charmander. And that's about all I got for this video. That's about like all I wanted to talk about. There were some like other topics. Like I wanted to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'd like to talk about some other like psychologists that I think are kind of cool. I just made like a little short talking about Freud's theory on dream theory and dream interpretation, which is like ridiculous. Dude, it was such a wacko. But I think there's like a lot of really cool psychologists out there. Like I love Carl Rogers, Carl Maslow, and his hierarchy of needs was really cool. Pavlov and classical conditioning, I think understanding that could help a lot of people. As well, if you've ever had like a dog, learning like operant conditioning and stuff is like very handy, and understanding how that works and how it can be like implemented for yourself can do a lot of people a lot of good. So maybe if people are interested in that, I could like talk about that. A lot of the other things on my channel are just going to be like anime related and maybe like about TV shows and random nonsense that I feel like talking about and expressing myself over. But for now, I felt like putting this thing together, felt like trying something a little different, a little bit of a different format. If you like this, let me know. Maybe I can try to do this again in the future, perhaps with a little bit better quality, maybe some like better lighting, and maybe like a better setup, but this is what I had, and this is what I felt like doing, so that's the end. Cool. I guess all the other classic nonsense, if you enjoyed, let me know. Comment down below, like, subscribe if you feel like it. If not, no worries. If you hated it, leave some feedback. I am okay with constructive criticism. So, till next time, guys. Hope it was fun. Peace.